Boy, we're on a stretch of heat, are we?
Oh, yeah,
the heat
absolutely.
is on. Go ahead, let's sing it. The
Yeah.
heat is on. Go ahead, come on, Brad.
I can't remember the next line. Oh my gosh.
Well, we got the gist of it. I think they heard enough.
Yeah.
They probably heard enough.
Yeah.
You got it, okay?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're in that stretch of heat, and we are getting our full throttle summer.
Yes, and absolutely. And I know I was talking to a high schooler last night, and like now the heat comes and school starts next week.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So no, but
well,
I love it.
But kush, they'll be in the air conditioning.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah, they'll still have it made, but yeah.
And let's roll back to now. I don't think you and I. We always have it. We're maybe younger. Listen to me. I'm stepping out on a limb on that.
Yeah.
But we had air conditioning. But
yes.
You go back to the ones that did go to school and didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
That's why they started school a lot of times a lot later.
Yeah, later, and it was started to cool
I don't
down
remember when
bit.
we didn't have air conditioning.
I can't either.
I know. So we're just that young.
So we're just that young.
That's our story, right?
That's right.
All right, let's thank our sponsors this morning.
All right, we've got Walmart.
After everybody's going boo.
I know. Walmart, Meadowview, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Kentucky Mechanical Recycling, and Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy.
Yay! Thank you to our great sponsors. All right, Brad, you and I are supposed to have. We will be talking by phone to Kathy. I think it's said Rich's,
Something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and she actually is a famous novel writer. Reichert, I believe that's right. And we're in her 20th novel. We're going to be talking with her. I'm a little bit nervous about some of this because she's very impressive. So,
yes.
Yeah. This was the second time we had to reschedule it because she had a conflict come up. So I'm really excited, and I hope that everything goes good. She's very busy, and so we hope we get this interview today.
Yeah, and her work is what was the TV show was based on. One of those crime-solving TV shows. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Who's on the edge of your seat, and then they take commercial.
Yeah,
that's the way it always goes.
Yes, that's right.
But what I find very interesting, and we've learned from all of our wonderful police officers, everything that we've done here on WSLM, that a lot of times this stuff is not done in 1 hour. I mean,
right. Yeah,
it's not TV.
It's a little bit, it's a little bit longer process. Yes.
Yeah. And she's actually worked on some big cases too. So this will be interesting. Like helped out, like they've called her to come in, like on some major cases. So
she's certified.
Yeah.
There's a certified some certification that's not that's a big deal for forensic pathologist people.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then so she's definitely it's exciting to have a 20th novel. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I don't think she will, but if she starts using medical terms over our head, Brad.
I'll raise my hand.
Could you kind of, should we say dumb it down maybe? Yeah.
Can you please hold Google that?
Yeah. Exactly. All right, let's talk real quick while we wait for her call. The Reds beat the Cubs 7-4 last night.
Yay! Absolutely.
Yay! And if you remember, one thing when Walmart first opened, Mike King walked me right over here to the gas station, to our convenience store, and purchased a Cubs glass for me because he said I did not have anything Cubs related in the studio, and he felt like that was important. It's right behind me there.
Yes.
But anyway, I want to say
Reds from Cubs. We love Mike King. We really do.
Yeah. Well, it was when they won the championship, and he felt like I needed to have that.
And that was good.
I know.
mean, that was good.
Happy for the other guys. Yeah, it's always,
And we bleed what color?
Red. Yeah. So the Reds did beat them. Awesome. You'll hear more Major League action tonight for the pregame. First and Rhode Island combined.
Yeah.
If you think of it that way, that's just
It's just
devastating.
It's just devastating.
I guess, we don't actually. Okay, she's on the phone. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, I do believe we are joined this morning by Catherine, and I will make sure I got it right. Ratchet. Good morning, Catherine.
Hi, it's Kathy Wright.
Oh, Kathy Wright. Sorry. Okay, I apologize, Kathy. And we're so glad to have you with us. This is Becky. I have Brad with us in the studio, and we are honored to have you with us this morning. And we are going to be talking about, of course, you are the #1 New York Times best-selling author, Kathy Wright, and returns to her 20th gripping and novel featuring. And we are so excited to have you with us this morning. But let's start off, first of all, Kathy, tell us a little about yourself and how you got involved in forensic science.
Well, I actually trained to do bioarchaeology, to look at ancient skeletons, but police started bringing me cases. I wrote a little short story in a book called The Bone Collection, and it's Temperance Brennan's origin story, how she got into forensics, and it's exactly my origin story. Police bring her a case, and they ask for her help. She does it. She feels that kind of work is very compelling. She really enjoys its relevance. So she switches to forensic anthropology and begins working with modern skeletons from medical examiners and coroners' offices.
And how many years have you been involved in forensic science?
Are you really asking me that?
I know.
Long time. Many.
Okay.
Let me just say this. I'd have to put it in decades.
Okay. Well, no, I love that. I think that's awesome. And okay, so let's go back from many decades. Let's go back because this is awesome. Do you? And I've been in radio for for a while too. But okay, so I guess what my question is. How did technology, where are we at today from back when you first started? I mean, from like how you can discover and the information that you're given, and of course now we have Google, we have so many things that we can do. Let's go back to years ago.
Well, the big change I think is of course DNA, and that we didn't used to take samples of what we do. What forensic anthropologists do is we help identify unidentifiable remains, so the burned, the mutilated, the mummified, the decomposed, perhaps just the skeletal. So what I do is I work with a detective. If I have a completely unknown set of remains, I'll tell him how tall the person was, the age, the sex, the racial background. They then try to match that to missing persons reports, because you can't use DNA in a vacuum. You have to have a name. So once we have a possible, this could be Jane Doe, then we can get DNA and do comparisons. So one big difference is DNA within the last several decades. Forensic anthropologists don't use a lot of razzle-dazzle equipment. We don't use gas, chromatography or mass spec or that kind of thing. We use calipers to take measurements. We use x-rays, of course. We use bone saws. We use pretty simple technology.
Now, when you, I guess when you first, went into this, and I'll get over this. It's so interesting to hear. I guess, did you feel like it takes a special person to do this? I mean, is it some days? I mean, sometimes has it really been difficult? I guess, and were you sure this is where you wanted to go, your path in life?
Yeah, I was sure once I started working in the forensic area, I was sure that's what I wanted to do. So I retrained and I took my board certification exams. It's not for everyone, because if you're working on decomposed remains or a body that's, come out of a river or something, you've got to be able to deal with the smells and the sights and the maggots. So it really is. You have to have a certain psychological, and you have to have a certain psychological ability to remain objective, because some cases are harder than others. Child homicides, for example. So you have to stay detached and scientific. If you become emotionally involved with the victim, you're not going to do them any good.
Right, and I guess there would be a sense, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but of helping that victim. Let people know who that victim is, and kind of, if you will, be the person for that victim, right?
Yeah, and I've said this in interviews many times. I work with the dead, but I work for the living as well,
Right.
because the family very
Right.
much want to know what happened to their missing
Sure.
loved ones. The answer may not be good, but they'd rather know than not know.
Right. Right.
So Kathy, this is Brad. So I think that when you were talking about you've got to, kind of keep the emotional tie, out of that and things like that. But that kind of, you can save that for the end, so to speak, and that's kind of the reward at the end that you've given that family and those loved ones, or even, the police, an answer and like the last piece of the puzzle, and then that is kind of when that emotional piece can be, hey, I'm happy that I was an advocate for this person, victim.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And you nailed it with two of your phrases: the reward at the end, and also solving the puzzle. Because to me, the interesting part is like reading a thriller. The reader, the bone code, for example, they try to solve the puzzle, and then also, it's very gratifying to be able to give answers to the family, or the spouse or the partner or whoever it happens to be. And that's also what comes out in my character, Temperance Brennan,
Yes.
both the TV Tempe on Bones and in the books, is she has this passion for her work, and she has a passion for finding justice for the dead.
Right. And this is your 20th novel, and are we going to see more? Is this something, because you really have a lot going on? I mean, you're actually doing you have done some high profile cases, and then also we're going to talk about the TV show that you have inspired, and then a book. So you Kathy, you have a lot going on.
Yeah, I did. Once we got into, I don't know, our fourth or fifth season of Bones, I did begin writing episodes, writing a screenplay, and then I do the Temperance Brennan book every year. And for about 6 years, I was also doing a young adult series with my son. We did 6 books in the Viral series. So it got, and I was doing casework and commuting between the Carolinas and Quebec. I was doing all of the work out of Montreal for the province of Quebec. So it got very busy. So I had to pull back on something. So now I'm really focusing on the writing.
Now, which do you prefer? And tell us the difference between the writing and then the TV.
Yeah, writing books is different than writing a screenplay for TV. And I enjoy books. I like books. Writing a book, I'm your classic author sitting all alone at my keyboard, pounding out words. When you write a screenplay, for our show at least, you do what's called breaking the story. You go into the writer's room, and with the other staff writers, you just brainstorm ideas. You throw out, well, what if we do this, and let's do that, and what if we have the body discovered in a chocolate bar or whatever. And that's really exhilarating to do it collectively, and it's very different from writing a book. And then you also, when writing for television, it all boils down to dialogue. You don't have to describe anything as you do in a book, because your viewer is going to see that on the screen. You don't have to describe her dress or the room or the garden or her face. So it really boils down to dialogue. So that's another difference.
Well, I think it'd be similar to radio, your book, because, like the theater of the mind, like you have to, it's what you create. And I think that's where the book is, brings out so much, I guess, if you will, talent, and it shows. But now on the TV, and now how does that, I guess, from the forensic science, because in TV you have the answer wrapped up in an hour.
Right. Well, less than that, because there's commercial time. But
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
We love our sponsors. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah. So, I mean, it is. So, there is a big difference in that, right?
Well, one of the fallacies with both thrillers, I think, and TV is that every case gets solved. You may have some that continue. We had some serial killer, what we call arcing stories, that continued from episode to episode, or actually from season to season. But in the end, everything gets solved on TV. So that's not really reality. Everything does, actually get solved.
Right.
So when I think it's interesting how you were talking about writing about, for the TV series, a screenplay on the same type of material is so different from a book. So you were talking about how that collaboration when you're with the other screenwriters and stuff like that. Um, it, do you find yourself at those times, even though that's like you really enjoy that a lot, every once in a while saying, well, the science doesn't we're getting out on a limb here, or yes, you're wanting to have it entertaining for TV, but are there times when you're just like, wait a minute, we need to slow down and just this is a little more practical approach, even to the television aspect of it?
That was largely my job as a producer. I worked with the writers as they were writing whenever they had questions, and then I read every one of our 246 scripts. We are the longest running scripted drama in the history of Fox. So yeah, and I would give notes, as they're called in Hollywood, on the science. And our guideline was, yeah, we can push the envelope, but we're not going to make anything up, and we have to keep it plausible.
Well, now you wrote the book, The Bone Code. You wrote this. Was this right during the pandemic? And how was that? If it was during the pandemic, how was that different than maybe writing some of your other novels?
It was not during the pandemic.
Okay.
It takes me a year to write a book, and then it's in production for a year before it is released. So I started The Bone Code way before COVID, and it's just coincidental that in The Bone Code it's not a pandemic, but there's a flare-up of a contagious, kind of a flesh-eating disease in Charleston, South Carolina, a spike in the number of cases. So as the book was finished, and also there is in there information on vaccine production, so the book was very timely when it came out, even though those things hadn't been in the public, had the public attention when I began writing the story. This book was actually triggered by, I saw a little article about a Chinese doctor who scientists have now mapped the whole human genome, and we also have the ability to modify the human genome. But the scientific community has agreed we're not going to do that, to create designer babies. And yet I read this article about a Chinese doctor who did that. He altered the genomes of 2 unborn babies. So I did the process I always go through is, well, okay, that's a core idea. What if this? What if that happened? What if someone took that knowledge and that technology and used it for nefarious purposes? And then that spun off into my fictional storyline.
Very interesting. And I guess so then this is your 20th, your 21st, I guess. Have you started anything new yet, or do you give yourself how much time in between?
Oh no, I start right away, and I'm well along on the number 21, which the tentative working title is Cold, Cold Bones. And in this one, Tempe is going to be forced to revisit some of her old cases. And no more spoilers, that's all I'll tell you.
Okay, all right. Well, we have so many of our listeners that are huge fans and have read, all of your books, and you've just got so much. And I do want to go back though. Some of the major cases. I mean, you have really that have been in the public. From was it Casey Anthony? Is that right? And some other ones that you've really been involved in. And how is that been?
Well, when I love media attention when I release a fiction, a novel. I don't like media attention when I'm actually involved in a case. So there in cases like that, high profile cases like that, or 9/11, or I don't know, the United Nations Tribunal on Genocide in Rwanda. I testified in that. There's a lot of media attention and pressure, and in those cases, I just focus on what it is I'm doing and do it. My job.
Now, has there ever been that, and you don't have to, name specifically, but that one case where it's just been really mind-boggling that, has really, I guess, been one that, do you, stay up of a night and think about it, or does it consume you, if you will?
I try to leave my work at the lab when I leave the lab. What I will do when I'm especially wrapping up a book and thinking about all of the clues, both legitimate clues and red herring clues, because you put those in because it's the reader's enjoyment, I think, to try to sort through those and solve the puzzle. So at the end of the book, you're trying to tie everything together and make it all make sense and not rely on coincidence. I will sometimes write in my sleep, and sometimes I jot it down, sometimes I don't, and then, you know, all that brilliance is lost forever. But I'll do that in my sleep sometimes.
Right. Well, they say, like to keep a pen and paper by the night table.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, it would have to be, I mean, you're very disciplined for sure, to how many people have said, I guess, that I'd love to write a book or something and to step out and do that, right?
Well, it's true. And to those people, I always say, if you sit down, find a block of time, whether it's 1 hour a day or 1 day a week or one morning or, on weekends, and write. Because at the end of a year, if you write 1 page a day, you've got 365 pages. You've got a book. So you can't edit and polish a blank page. You've got to write, even if you don't feel like it. You've got to put something on paper, figuratively. So that's usually my advice to people who say, I wish I could write a book. Well, just, sit down and do it. Try to do it, or join a writing group perhaps, and have the collective motivation of the other writers.
And Kathy, for like maybe those that job shadow with you, or those that maybe want to talk to you to find out if this is a field that they would like to go into, what do you say? What do you say to those?
Well, there is the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. I think it's aafs.org. They have a page for students who are thinking of going in either high school or university level, I think. Also, the American Board of Forensic Anthropology, abfa.org or something, they have a lot of information for students interested in forensic anthropology specifically. People can reach me on the usual, platforms. I have my own website, KathyReichs.com, that has more to do with the books and writing, but not exclusively. There's also, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's so interesting, and so can I ask more on a personal note, just to get to know you? But like, what do you do when you're not doing TV, not doing a book, or or on a case? I mean, what are your, like? Do you have a hobby?
Well, I've just started learning pickleball. I was a tennis player, but I think I may switch to pickleball. It's really fun. I'm terrible at it right now. So, yeah, and I am speaking to you from my beach house on a barrier island outside of Charleston, South Carolina. This is actually where the Bone Code story opens up. So I like to come down here. I like to be down at the beach and spend time with my grandkids and nothing particular. Traveling. I do like, now that we're going to be able to do that, that'll be fun once again.
Yeah, if you're ever in Southern Indiana, the local YMCA just built a beautiful pickleball court, and for those, it's really starting to grow and expand, and we've got a lot of those enthusiasts here, so they would probably love to have you come out.
Or Kathy, if you wanted me to come down with you, I like sitting on the beach.
Yes, absolutely. That's the thing.
It's a pretty nice beach.
It's good for you.
Beautiful down there.
I am glad
absolutely.
to hear that you have everyone needs that outlet. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
So Kathy, I have kind of a question of it's interesting to me. I think how you do the television work and the writing and the producing and all of that, the consulting for that, creating a screenplay and even novels, where you're putting the pieces of the puzzle, you're navigating how the readers or the viewers get those pieces of the puzzle. but I think it's interesting to me that when you're in the lab and you're doing that approach that way, that you're not, from what I get from what you're saying, you don't guess where the path is going to lead, where the puzzle pieces are going to lead. You let the science lead you to where it's going to go. And I think that's interesting that, so how do you kind of like, I mean, it's just amazing to me that you have the same science, but it's used in two different applications. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say about that?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think being a scientist makes me a better observer. I think they feed back into each other. I think being a scientist makes me a good observer so that I observe a lot of details. Being a writer, I think, causes me to be an even more detailed observer. For example, things that I wouldn't necessarily need to know about in a case, like the sound of a fly buzzing against, the fluorescent light, or how do you describe the smell of the, decomposed flesh. So I think they feed back in each other. And also, having been a scientist, I think it helps me to write in a very organized way. I'm a linear writer. I start with chapter 1, and then I write chapter 2 and 3 and 4. My daughter's a writer, and if she feels happy, she writes the love scene, and if she feels blue, she writes the death scene. I can't do it that way. So I think, it's the left brain, right brain kind of thing, but I think they both feed back on each other.
And I've got Kathy. I appreciate you. I know we're kind of all over the page, but there's so many. You've got so much talent. But going back to the book and the Temperance, let's talk about her real quick. How did you create her character?
Oh, that's an easy one. I based it on myself. I started the first book in 1994 on spring break from the university. I had just made full professor sometime around then, so I was free to do something new. I didn't really want to do another scientific book, so I thought fiction might be fun. I had also just worked on a serial murder case, and that was all resolved. So I had the core idea for a story, and I take that core, like the article about the Chinese doctor for the bone code, and I just say, okay, well, what if this then, and what if that, and what if that? So those two came together, so I decided to write the book. I told myself I would finish it, no matter what. I would submit it, I think I said 50 times. I don't know why. And if I got 50 reject slips, I would go back to my day job. So I did. It took 2 years to write it, and and I submitted it to a publisher, and the rest is history, I guess.
Well, Kathy, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on your 20th novel. That's outstanding. Yay, good for you. And still keeping it interesting, keep it going. And of course, you're working on a new one now. And I know all of our listeners in the car or wherever they're at are probably cheering it on and happy to hear that for sure. And do you have any idea when that will be done, or is that hard to say a time frame?
The next book, Cold Bones, will be out in the summer, a year from now. It's summer, 2022.
All right. Well, right now we are focusing on the Bone Code. It's out and available anywhere you can buy books or you can download them.
That is correct. And if you go to any of those platforms, my website or my Facebook, there are links to purchase the book.
Kathy, you're fantastic. You're doing maybe what a lot of us couldn't do.
Yeah.
And I'm very honored to, and I know Brad is too, to get to talk to you this morning.
Well, it was very nice talking to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your day, hon. Thank you, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
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 All right, pretty awesome.
Awesome,
Wow.
yeah.
We were all over the page with that interview.
We were, but everything she talked about would spark this,
yes.
and we come up.
Wow.
So I think that's, and the TV show Bones is really an interesting show. So, but it's fascinating to me how she can take, just shows how smart she is, for lack of a better word to describe that, but how she can take the same science, the same profession, and have this, in lab stuff versus the entertainment stuff and the novel stuff, and just
switch
sew
gears,
that all together.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like,
doing this and you're doing this, multitasking so much there.
I think that's interesting.
And I think it's interesting too that they called her in for big cases. I mean, there's several cases that we would know that are public that they've called her in, and she doesn't like to. It's interesting how to make sure that she doesn't want to be influenced, or she doesn't want any of that swaying any.
And that makes her, I think, like she said at the beginning, that takes that emotion out of it till the end, but it makes her a true advocate for the victims. That she's, and she's technically working for them and the families of those victims. So I do think that's she enjoys the people knowing about the TV show and the novels and things like that. But when she's working on those high profile cases, she wants to be low profile during that time. And I think that's awesome. And I think that's professionalism, and that's the advocate you want for people in those circumstances.
Yeah. Well, very unique.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just a very special person. Yeah.
I was not going to be as forward and invite myself down there for pickleball.
Well,
that's why I invited her here. I know, but where she's at, it's beautiful. It's beautiful down there. Absolutely. I know. But I was like,
I will bring my own chair.
Yeah, I know.
I will bring my own little umbrella, sunscreen.
Well, I was glad you did, because
I did.
Becky invited both of us.
Well, if you remember, there's been some other interviews where they told us to come on down.
I know.
And my job and your job does not allow us to do that, but someday we might take some people up on it.
Yes. Yeah.
And that'd be pretty. I would be very nervous, because I'd be like, because I'd try not to say, something, I'd be like, I had to think everything, because she's, especially right now, she's probably writing that novel.
Yeah, she said she's really far into that.
Chirping in her ear, chirp, chirp, chirp.
Yeah.
You and I, you sit on one side, I sit on the other side, and she'd be in the middle. She'd be like, go back to Indiana.
Yeah.
Go. Get out of here.
I will pay for
another word.
The trip back. Yeah.
It'd be like a news story. Famous writer Kathy.
Or there'd be
had a brain lock because to Indiana.
Yeah, we'd get the novel, and there'd be two annoying guests that disappeared.
Yeah, exactly.
Those cases were not solved.
Yeah, nobody wants to know.
Yeah.
That's exactly
but no, I think that's. But I think it's interesting to me that, like, even when we were talking about the Hollywood stuff, and she's just matter of fact about it, and not like, oh, I'm a big deal, and she's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
you are very
pretty
big
cool.
Deal. Yeah. So I'm going to read that book. I knew about it, and I knew a little bit about it, but I'm going to go back and read it. I'm going to go back. She's really got she's piqued a lot of my interest. Yeah. So very good, very good, very interesting. All right, Brad, we were going back to some more information. We're going to switch gears here. The CDC has updated its mask guidance and has recommended that fully vaccinated people wear masks indoors in areas with high, possibly COVID-19 right now. That includes nearly 2/3 of the U.S. countries. The new guidelines are recommend universal masking for everyone in schools, regardless of vaccination status. Now, I want to just put a bookmark right there. Let me go back. Here in Indiana, where we're at, the governor has put it with the school boards. Every school board is making those decisions. And right now, they have a lot of the school boards have stepped out and said what they were going to do, and there's been no changes in policy as of right now. So no one has changed anything. And I will say for Salem, as of right now it could change in 2 or 3 hours. And if our governor, if he jumps on and makes a statewide message. But right now, it's masks are optional. But we will see what the guidelines. They're not. Nothing's parallel right now.
Right.
So again, anybody, just like Brad, we talk about this all the time. Just nice little reminders. Anybody that's making the decisions, it's not easy decisions.
No, they're not easy.
And you try to make it fair to all concerned and best for everyone and the health of our children.
Right. The
children's health and children first. So we'll see what the governor. We got a few days or some time, but I know we're getting down to the wire, but this is, is where we're at, and we're seeing our numbers go up, and that's concerning to a lot of people. So we'll see where we go.
And it goes back to that point too, that if you feel like you are in a situation where you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If that's what you're comfortable with, wear that.
And do not judge anyone.
And do not judge anyone. And, also see the other side of the coin. And I'm not on either side of the argument. I'm just saying that people need to try to look to the opposite view and just be kinder and more understanding both ways. Just because if there's folks out there that say I'm fully vaccinated and I feel like that I don't feel like I need to wear a mask. So, but there's people that are fully vaccinated that feel like they want to wear a mask. Just let people handle what they have got to do in their way, and be respectful of that. We're always stronger together than separate. So, but those decisions are not. When the CDC changed some stuff, I had a lot of people reach out to me yesterday and say, "What is your company doing?" and things like that. And I will say that anyone making these decisions are not made lightly.
No. And then going back to your kindness, that campaign kindness. Boy, that's just like, can't say that over and over and over and over. Making sure that everyone hears that, and let's be kind.
Yes.
We need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think of Glenn Campbell. Try a little kindness, show a little kindness.
Yeah.
If you see your brother standing on the way, just stop and say,
it's going
the wrong way.
I mean, and you kind of, absolutely. And you kind of say that oversimplifies it, but not really. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Well, I think that, it's something that, that is good reminders of people. And right now, we've not made any changes, so we are where we're at, and so if there are, we'll sure update. And right now everybody's trying to, and just like, remember, if you roll back over a year ago when decisions were being made, you said something and then maybe 2 or 3 hours you had to shift it a little bit or change it a little bit. So you have to, it's like buffet pants.
Right.
You have to be able to, put your
absolutely.
buffet pants on. You got to have that elastic. You got to be able to, right?
You got to be able to pivot. That's what we say a lot too. You got to be able to pivot. And that's a very good point, because, Friday, the CDC may change that. And it's not, and they're not making those decisions lightly either.
Oh, no.
They're not, and if that changes, they're going to look at trends and things like that. So it may be a thing to where I'm always one of those people, though. Err on the side of caution, and everything will be fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and to just respect when people do make the decisions, and just good reminders. A little bit of, I guess we did a little bit of a mom and dad little lecture there. Be
You're
kind,
grounded.
Like I tell my grandkids, kind hands. These hands, we got to keep them kind. We got here. We got wrestling, tackle, kind hands.
Yes.
It's important.
Yes.
All right, Brad. Also, let's go back.
I was gonna say it's easier to be kind after floating in the pool for a couple hours.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, when those hands are like pruned. Remember Dennis the Menace? Show me your fingers when they're pruned or whatever. We got also going on the Olympics are going on. Lily King, Olympic gold medal winner, lost the 100-meter breaststroke to another USA team member, Alaskan teen Lydia Jacoby, I believe that's right, pulled off a shocking upset in the women's 100-meter breaststroke, becoming the first American woman to win gold in swimming in Olympics. And why am I talking about that? Because she beat the U.S. teammate King, who was chasing her second consecutive Olympic gold in the 100 breaststroke. King took the bronze medal, and we just wonder, is she related to Mike King?
She is related to Mike King. She is his niece. Yes, Mike King, and he will tell you that he credits her swimming to himself.
Well, I'm sure
because he's the one that he's the one that taught her to swim. And knowing Mike, probably the way he loves the water and everything, that there's probably something to that, and Lily lets him tell that story, so that's pretty good. But and I want to tell you, she is not only an exceptional athlete, she's an exceptional young lady. She really is. But yeah, she's
I'm sure
related
Mike's the
to
first one that taught her how to hold her breath under the water, and you know, I'm sure you know, I'm
blow
sure.
bubbles to
Yeah.
get comfortable with the water.
Kick, kick, kick,
Kick,
kick,
kick,
kick, kick, kick.
kick, kick. And the boogie board.
Swim
Kick,
to
kick.
me,
Come
swim
on,
to
come
me.
on. Yeah. So yeah, I can see how that.
I can see
yeah.
Mike King.
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
So
That's his story. He's sticking to it.
absolutely. So but yeah, so she's his niece, and we're very proud. But I think the thing is, it's one of those things that you see these athletes, and hats off to the young lady. She's the first swimmer from Alaska
Yeah.
to make the swimming team. I think that's interesting because most of them,
Yeah.
I guess, do know those sports or whatever. But I think
Yeah.
that's interesting. But after that happened, after that happened, Lily was very gracious and was very happy for her
Love that,
teammate,
yeah.
and she was.
That's when
She
you know
said
you
it's
gotta get-
important that the gold came home to the U.S. and if it wasn't her, one of her teammates. So I think that's amazing.
I love
think that's amazing. So
and that's the true team spirit.
yes, that's the type of role model to look up to.
Yeah.
And we're partial to her too because she's family
Related.
to
Yeah,
us
she's
at
family.
Walmart. So.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not my niece, but
I know, but yeah.
I mean,
Well, now,
I know Mike, so
I imagine by this afternoon.
I hitched my wagon on the
Yeah,
belly.
you are hitching your wagon, and I don't blame you. But I imagine by it's like my fishing store or my shark store. You know, by the end of the day, she will be your niece too.
oh yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Come
she
on,
thinks of me.
Minnie, I can see it.
I'm like an uncle, right?
I know. There you go.
But I would love for her to come to Salem.
That'd be
I
awesome.
mean, she's still so Indiana
Yeah,
girl.
I want to hear all about Alaska too. I want to never been. I want to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's exciting. Good for her and good for them. Also, Brad, we need to talk about the thing that's going on, and I know a lot of our little ones don't want to hear this, but we do have back to school shopping going on over at Walmart.
Yes, we
You
do.
got the bins up. I love those, and this is the time
Yes.
when you're going to get the best glue, crayons, or
Yes.
whatever your
Yes.
back to school stuff. And I always buy it in bulk.
I am bold.
Put it up, and then during like November, December, or January,
Yes.
February, when you start needing new stuff,
Yes.
you can start.
Absolutely. Do that, and then you can refresh after different breaks or holidays or whatever, but also buy extra and pass that along to someone who may need a little extra help. I'm all for that.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a great idea.
And your kids or grandkids and nieces, nephews, everybody's so involved now with raising our kids, which is great.
Love that.
But you may know of a friend or something, and and actually that stuff is it's like the first day all over again, but it's cool, like
I know,
to
when you
get
start
certain
seeing
things in your stocking at Christmas.
It's
or
the
things like
most
that.
wonderful time.
Right. So buy, but we have great backpacks, all this stuff at great price points too.
I know.
And of course, don't forget our back to college stuff too.
Oh, absolutely.
So now that
And
we're
remember-
getting more back to
Remember
normal,
whenever I was trying to find the longer twin mattress,
The
or
twin-
not mattress,
the
sheets.
yeah, twin
Remember,
XL.
the only place I could find them was your.
Yes, and they have some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
You can make your dorm room, and so many people are going back to.
And the storage,
college
you got the nice little storage bin
Yeah.
things that look so good, and
Yeah.
the chairs and the futons and and the rugs.
Yeah.
So I'm a rug girl and I'm a blanket girl. I
Yeah.
love and all the blankets. Oh,
So I think you can make, as
Candles.
parents and family members, we can help them make their space look nice. We just can't help them keep it clean, right?
well, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's gonna be when you put it all together and you kiss them goodbye. It looks.
That's the best it's done I ever looked.
That's like, take a photo because it ain't gonna ever look like
Yeah.
that again.
Yeah.
But I think too, that it's important to, to have that environment for them because, especially for those that are going away for the first time,
Mhm.
this might be a little difficult and probably more difficult for the parents,
Yeah,
But
probably. Yeah.
so maybe the parents need to
But not
buy some of
Jeannie.
this
Not
stuff.
Jeannie. She was just like,
Oh,
woo!
you gotta go.
I don't even think she stopped the car. I don't think she did stop the car.
love
I don't
that.
think she turned
This
it
is
off.
why we
As
love
she's like,
This is-
don't forget everything.
I
There's
love
some stuff
that.
back there. See you
Well,
later.
That's exactly, and Jeannie is doing it right. You get it,
Yes.
girl. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
This is why
I
we love
joke.
her.
She
Oh.
cried the first weekend I came home because she was like, "What
Your
happened?
laundry."
You're back so soon, and all this laundry."
Yeah, the laundry. I did
Yeah.
cry when your laundry came in.
I
too.
know.
Oh, those big things. Which
But
they
no,
had the
you-
big laundry bag.
That gives those. If you're going away to college and stuff, and you picked out all that stuff, that gives you a little sense of home with
Yeah.
your
And if you are the parent and you're struggling, there's nothing wrong with getting some stuff for your home. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Redoing some rooms.
That
fixing-
bedroom suddenly becomes a
An exercise room. You know what I mean?
yes. I was going to say a TV room, but
Well, there you go.
no, I mean that's
I like
the
your
same.
thought better. Yeah.
Yeah, exercise
lounge
bike in
room.
front of the TV, right? But no, that's the thing. It's just
Yeah.
like So
Well, so
but there anything you could, and it's
and
amazing.
the shoes. I love the shoes. You got
We're-
shoes. You got
It's. I did say, we're in the full heat of summer. Well, even August is going to get even
I know.
hotter,
Yeah.
But I told one of the team leads in apparel the other day, and I said, because everybody knows I'm a summer guy and I love being outside, being in the pool and stuff. But I was like, oh my gosh. So hooded sweatshirts have started coming in, and I'm just like, that's a sign that I said, but wait a minute, summer's not over. It's just one of those things. And she said, well, she said a lot of people like fall, but she said it's back to school. People start thinking about that because once the kids go back to school, it's just a few weeks to where then it gets chilly again.
Yeah.
And so they want to have that. But it's just like those things that you don't think about, but you're just like, oh.
But see, I'm attracted to. I don't know why, and of course, I do love summer too. But I'm usually in the air conditioning. I do manage to stay there a lot. But anyway, no, I'm attracted to the sweatshirts. You cannot, Brad. You cannot be putting on. It's just like a big hug of a sweatshirt. I'm this sweatshirt and just clothing. You dress up during the day, and a lot of times in our what we do, and then when you get to that point of the day, of the evening, you know what I mean, and you put on those sweatpants or sweatshirt and just that, and it can be 90 degrees outside, but
well,
I don't know. I
do. I
am
like
attracted
that.
to that clothing.
Yeah, I do like that.
To the comfortable, that
Yeah.
stuff. I find myself.
Well, there is.
There's a lot in my closet like
Yeah.
that.
Well, no, I do like a
So the
a
sweatshirts
hooded
are in.
sweatshirt or a
Are
sweatshirt
they in?
with shorts and
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I like
so-
that look too. Now,
Yeah.
one time I was told you have winter on top, summer on the bottom. But I'm attracted. I
no,
like
that
It's-
they added together they equal fall. Someone told me that one time.
See, I never knew that.
Winter on
I
top,
did not know what to say.
Summer on the bottom, added together equals fall.
Well, there you
Perfect.
go. But I love that. I love that sweatshirt
Yeah.
up here and then shorts.
Well, you know this, and some of my friends know this, and I'm my thing is that I really like, and it's similar to that sweatshirt thing, is the long sleeve T-shirts, the dry fit
Oh, yeah.
T-shirts that are UV protection.
Yeah.
But when it starts getting a little cooler in the evening time, you can have that on. You can have a pair of shorts on, and you're comfortable.
Oh yeah.
So I like that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So the sweatshirts are starting to come in. Yay!
yes.
Well, and it's also nice to go ahead and get them. And if you're doing your school shopping, go ahead and have them. And then whenever you do need that morning, because sometimes of a morning, especially early morning before school, it's chilly, and they can put them in their backpack. They can they can wear them, and it's nice to have. So
Yes.
those are, go ahead and get those for sure. You had some really cool Salem apparel.
Yes.
I saw that. That was really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
I love that. I love having that option for the hometown gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
So a lot of great things, and still, and still just like, and I've said this, and I think you and I've even talked about this so many times. I mean, years ago, like we started school a little bit later.
Mhm.
Now we started school a little bit earlier, and it is still sunny.
Yeah.
And you still got the shorts. You still have, and if you do the pool, or if you're whatever, you still have bathing suits. You still have cover-ups. You still have.
yeah.
You still have.
Yeah, we have all that.
accommodate
So
all that.
it's kind of in that transition of seasons. You have it all. I just think it's interesting. But it is good, though. I think it's good that one thing you're talking about starting school a little earlier. Well, when they're done with football practice or whatever, and then it's still warm enough to come home and jump in the pool. That makes it a little more tolerable, right?
Yeah.
As far as that
There you
goes.
go.
But being hoodies or sweatshirts and shorts, that is not January attire. You have to retire that well before Christmas.
But
okay?
there are.
Because I
Now
know
Yeah.
I know a 15-year-old that
Yeah.
it's like, oh well, wait, it's middle January. Wait.
Shorts and
Shorts and slides and a hoodie is
I know.
not proper
no,
attire,
they do that. Yeah, Yeah.
It's like,
Especially if they're going to practices, you
Yeah,
know, basketball,
it's like-
seeing them basketball
it's
practices.
like,
or-
but I'm not going to be outside, and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, I think it's okay. I think
Yeah.
pride just, you gotta, you know, that's just
Showing my,
sometimes you
showing my elder statesman status with that.
gotta pick your battles,
What? I know.
Brad. Gotta pick them. That's just not one that, you know what I mean?
Just be thankful they're going to school.
That's exactly right. And they're up. You know what I
And
mean?
they're up and not
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
What are you talking about?
They're vertical, they're not horizontal. Be happy.
Yeah,
They're up. You know
yeah,
what I mean? They're going,
yeah.
they're moving.
They're
You know what I mean?
moving
When they're in
and
motion.
they might
they're
be
in
moving
motion.
grumpily.
Yeah, but they're in motion.
Yes.
And they're going towards the door.
Yes.
You do not.
Yeah.
Don't knock
That's
at
another
the thing.
good point.
That's a good
Yes,
point. Yeah,
absolutely.
so-
Oh, I'm seeing the back of your head as you leave. Have a great day.
Gotta go. Oh yeah. Yeah. The school bell's ringing.
Yeah. That's music to people's ears.
I
You know.
So it's an exciting time, and of course you've got it covered over there, and that's exciting for sure. So
Yeah.
get on over there, and also don't forget the groceries, which I love. Your watermelons. The watermelons have been fantastic, and I've been eating those. I'm not going to exactly say how many watermelons I've had, but yes, we've hit the watermelons very good at our
Yeah.
house, which we love, and cantaloupe.
Yeah.
Love all that.
Oh yeah. And my favorite thing right now is over in the deli area, by the deli area. They have meal solutions, and you know we talk about that all the time. But they have the rotisserie chicken already
$3.
pulled off. Well,
Oh.
well, not the chickens. They have it already pulled off and deboned and ready to go for you. And it's the rotisserie flavor, or you can get a barbecue flavor, and you can use that for anything. They are
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
It's amazing. It's just the chicken pulled off and all that works for you. You can make chicken salad out of it if you want. But my favorite thing to do is to make chicken quesadillas out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I make it
Well,
for someone.
But you have the
You make the
rotisserie
soft
chickens
tacos.
for $3.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So what's fun?
Absolutely.
I've been, you know, I use those,
Mhm.
and I make chicken and dumplings with those,
Mhm.
and just they're fantastic because
Yeah.
it's like a lot less work to,
Right, right.
to do. But it was funny because I guess I hadn't shared it with the class, but in our group message to the daughters, you know, it was, oh my gosh, I got this for $3. One of my
Yeah.
daughters, you know, she was like,
Yeah.
she goes, I can't believe it. I was like, I know they have, it's
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
$3.
Yeah, every day. And
Is
that's
that going to
really awesome.
continue?
Yes, that's going to continue.
Brad, that's fantastic.
Yeah, our goal is to
I
have
didn't know if it
those
was just
meal
a special
solutions.
that's, I don't know.
No,
That's,
it's more affordable, and
I love
it's
that.
good stuff. And,
well, and especially if
you
you're in a hurry and
And
we
yes.
talked about trying to eat healthy
Yes.
and try to do a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of times healthy, you can't do healthy quick.
right. No, yeah, you can.
And, you know, with
Yeah.
of course, I'm not when you had dumplings.
I know. Well, yeah.
I
But
might
I mean,
lose some of that,
you
but
know,
you're still,
yeah. No,
but for
you
those
can.
every other day when you are, you know, maybe, you know,
Yeah.
trying to do a little better,
But
you know.
you can take that pulled chicken that's
I
already
did
that
not know
way.
it was already pulled like
Yeah,
that.
it's already pulled like that, and
I
you
don't know
can
how I
put
missed
that
that.
in a small crock pot and add whatever barbecue sauce to it, and
Oh,
you've got pulled chicken barbecue sandwiches for later, and they're easy and people on the go and things like that. But I like to use that chicken in just a wrap. Get a
Yeah.
veggie tortilla or a spinach tortilla and make a wrap out of it. It's really
Great
good.
ideas,
Or
yeah,
soft
yeah,
tacos.
yeah.
I mean, simple, easy,
Yeah.
but it's really good.
Right.
But it's good with chicken salad too.
And I feel like when school starts, so many parents they need those quick, and
Yes.
not, and also during the summer too, because summer's busy, especially
Mhm.
if you're playing outside or doing stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And it is warm, and you come in and you're like maybe not wanting to have something really like you don't want to turn that oven on,
Right.
you know. And I do a lot of crock pot,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and things like that. Those are convenient and quick.
Yes.
And also, I would rather play. I do love food. Don't get me wrong, and I don't want that to be. But I also love playtime. So I'm
Yes.
all about that, or
Oh, yeah.
activities, and you are
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
we joke, we do love our food.
Oh, absolutely.
Very important, but
Absolutely.
also the activities and stuff. And sometimes it's hard to have those meals, and that was always my juggle, you know, because I would always joke, you know, that the chef is not home to cook. You know what I mean? I'm not there to
Yeah.
cook it, you know. And then now, what a blessing that we have got these where we can grab stuff like this and take it home and
And it gives you more time back for your family.
exactly.
It really does.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I'm
so
not
I'm a
opposed to-
huge fan of that right now.
I'm not, and this will be a little bit mind-boggling, but I'm not opposed to getting the rotisserie chicken. And if you get it and then like put it in the refrigerator, and I'm not even opposed to having it like the next day for a little bit cold. I'm not opposed to cold chicken,
I'm not either. I like
especially
that.
on a hot day.
I like
You know,
that.
or chicken
Absolutely.
salad, you know, or
Yes,
something like that.
absolutely. It's
So
good.
yeah.
And that's what this stuff is, cold and ready
Yeah.
to go in big chunks. And so it's good just to
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm going to grab some of that. But no, I'm with you on that. I'm not opposed at all to having
I think that's I think
cutting
that,
some of that off
that's a little
chicken
country
cold.
there.
It's
Yeah,
like,
cold
yeah.
chicken. Yeah.
We can make an awesome sandwich out of it.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, good ideas. Yeah. Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Now, yeah.
Can you tell? It's like, wow. Sorry. I do want to. She streams us every Wednesday morning. One of my, if you don't mind, Becky, one of my Walmart coworkers.
Oh, go right
She
ahead.
is a people partner at our Corden store, our sister store in Corden. She streams us and listens from her office
I
every
love that.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
She is an amazing lady, but she is celebrating. Her name is Stacy Brim.
Yay.
She is celebrating 30 years with Walmart today.
How
And
awesome.
she started out on the Sam's. I know, amazing.
Yay,
She
good
started
for
out on
her.
the Sam's Club side of the business,
Uh-huh.
and then transitioned about 25 years ago to the Walmart Supercenter side of the business. She's been in human resources for 27 of those 30 years. I'm lucky to get to work with her, but happy 30th anniversary. She's an amazing advocate and for their associates. I just and I
love that.
So,
Well,
you know.
and congrats. And also, I mean, for sticking 30 years, that's awesome.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
with-
and she approaches her
the same
job
career,
the way that we approach it here at Salem. So she's just a class act. So I just
Well-
want to say happy 30th anniversary. So, she needs to have the cake. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there should be cake.
Yes.
It's time to celebrate. Eat
Yeah.
the cake too.
Yeah.
Bring the cake, eat the
So,
cake.
yeah.
You know, when do you get cake? You know,
Yeah. You taught me.
Try to
Yeah, so, yeah. Absolutely. Eat the cake.
eat the cake.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Pet the dog, love the dog, and eat the cake.
Yes.
That's
There you go.
life lessons.
And let
take time.
Brutus walk on the roof.
Yes. Let the cat do whatever
That's
it needs to do.
true.
That's right. Yeah.
Let him love
The
you from a
untouchable.
distance.
That's
you know?
right. Untouchable. Don't look at me twice.
Yeah.
Don't look at him
Yeah.
twice. Okay.
Don't make eye contact.
That's right. Don't make eye contact.
Why are you
Look
looking
away.
at me?
And if you do make eye contact, be ready for a rumble.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's true. But eat the cake. Yeah. Absolutely. So I just want to say
Well, congratulations.
She's a
I think you
wonderful
should.
person.
And yay
So,
for you. Good for her. Yes,
Yeah.
good for her. I love that. All right. Today is also, Brad, National Hamburger Day.
Oh, absolutely.
Love me a hamburger.
Yes.
Love that. National Milk Chocolate Day.
Yeah.
Have mercy.
Yeah.
National Water Park Day. We both went to Holiday World. You went.
Yes.
We not together at the
Yes.
same time, but
Yeah.
how wonderful is that? Oh.
Oh, absolutely. You can't be unhappy in a water park
No,
It's
I
not
know,
possible.
I know,
Not possible.
I know.
until it's closing time.
And I'm one of those that, like, you have to, I mean, I'm the one that you have to say, it's time to go out of the waves. I mean, I will stay in those waves. I mean,
I am absolutely
I feel
the
like
same way.
I don't know if I feel like a mermaid. I don't know if I'm
I-
channeling
I-
something. I don't know what.
I don't
But
know.
it's like, I know I'm the one, I promise I will not get out of that water till I'm told
Oh,
we are
yeah.
leaving.
Yeah.
If you don't go with us at this point, you're going to be
I
left.
get the same thing.
Yes.
It's just like, I hope you're prepared to stay all night because,
Exactly.
wait, what?
You will,
Wait.
you'll become the property of Holiday World.
Yeah, and I'm okay with everybody going somewhere else and being
That's
into a water park by myself.
See,
I'll race down those slides
well,
by myself. It's
I
okay.
have that FOMO, fear of missing out. I have to get out of the water. I'm like, what? They're going to get blue ice cream without me. You know what I mean? So
Well,
that's what they.
I'm willing to sacrifice for something.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
get that stuff done early on, so
Yeah, okay.
you know.
See, that would be the thing, to get the blue ice cream first, and
Yes.
then get in the wave, and then you
Or send, oh, we're gonna go ride this. Are you gonna be guests? And then sneak and get the Dippin' Dots and the blue ice cream
And then
while
you-
they think you've just been in the water the whole time.
Look at you. Oh, you
Sorry.
you little
I'm sorry. I got
creativeness over there.
I know.
know,
I
I
I'm
will
telling
have
you,
you-
when I roll into the water park, I am Aquaman.
Oh, me too.
so-
That's right.
I have the big Triton and everything.
They even have, I promise, Holiday World's got a shirt that says mermaid. I bought that T-shirt. I feel.
Well, you know how
Okay,
we feel about T-shirts.
You know what I mean? Yes, I think when I get in that water, these fins come out. You know what I mean? They're like, watch out, anybody beside me. You know, the fins
Yes.
come out, and
Yes.
I am one with the water. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I love it. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about
Yes.
the shark. The waves are coming to me.
Yes.
and I'm I'm total playland.
Yes.
I mean, you know,
It's funny you're talking about t-shirts. I had a sibling that he knows who he is, and he's a good, much older brother. So he did send me a t-shirt that said, "A bad day in the pool is always better than a good day at work." On the back, it's got an old guy with a hat, sun visor, and he's got one of those tube things around his waist, and he's just standing there in his Hawaiian shirt with this tube around his waist and a hat and sandals and socks.
Oh my God,
It's
I love
hilarious.
That's hilarious. Well, you need to wear that. I need to wear my mermaid. Yeah.
But no, absolutely, going to the water, it's just amazing.
And free soft drinks.
Free sunscreen, free
if you
soft drinks.
get a little park.
It's right here, basically in our backyard. I mean, it's a quick drive, and
it's a win-win for sure.
But I'm like you. They're like, Brad,
we've got to get out. Yes. And you see, when you first see, okay, you're out and you can't hear them, but you start seeing that sign of "come here." That the signal.
And that's when you don't make eye contact.
You act like you don't know.
You're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to get in the water.
Yeah, you do not ignore. And then someone goes a little bit further into the water and they're screaming your name. We're leaving.
You're like,
you've got to get out.
I don't think I'm the only Brad here today. Looking around.
Well,
right?
Everybody's watching and looking because at that point the voice is getting a little bit more elevated. You're being screamed at, if you will. And of course, everyone's looking around like, are you not going to go? You're like,
there's nothing more fun than a teenager saying, "Do I need to drag you out of this?"
And then when you go out of the water,
yes, you do.
You got that pouty lip, like,
I know.
Like,
you're suddenly four again, right?
Furrowed brow, yeah, exactly. Four again, yes, completely four.
Yeah. Swim. That's what you say. Swim. No, swim. No,
furrowed
water.
Brow.
Warning. This program may be found offensive by pencil-pushing, bean-counting, research-loving program directors and radio consultants. Welcome to the Rick and Bubba Experience.
6 minutes past the hour. How do? From the broadcast plaza and teleport, it's the Rick and Bubba Show. With Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler, Pickett and Sheeran is our Rick and Bubba intern. She's taking your phone calls. We'll get to phone calls this hour. An Olympic update from Olympic correspondent Chris Wood. Also, we welcome back for a brand new hour. There's Bill Bubba Bussey.
Rick, he's glad to be here, and he appreciates you being here too.
Well, if you have that deal, where you have something that's coming up and you got to deal with it, and you know that the odds of it going well are low, and you're not even delusional about it. But as we said, if you think about it just being awful, maybe then when it's just bad, it doesn't feel as bad. And I love my wife with all my heart. I just love her so much.
Disclaimer. What a range.
What the blessing and value she is to me is you can't. There's no words of how appreciative I am. I'm not in trouble, but I know what's going to happen because right now we were cutting up last night, and we, the two sons that are either home or live near us came by. We did a little Tuesday night Bible study together with boys, and we're cutting up and laughing. We had big laughs at our dinner. We just laugh. Taco Tuesday. Ooh. And I'm thinking to myself that this wonderful, wonderful atmosphere and environment we're in right now is going to go and die this weekend because we've got to help Big Love move into his apartment. Yeah. Sherry and I, that's the reason why I try to do as turnkey as possible. I'm a turnkey guy. Right? And the problem is this is not turnkeyable. What we're doing now, I have turnkey the main part, stuff that you need movers for, but where it's all goes
easy with KCC Disposal. If you are a homeowner and you're cleaning out your garage, or you're a business owner with a cleanup project, a rented